Good afternoon, and welcome to the November 12th, 2019 meeting of the Muskogee Municipal Authority. Roll call, please.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
Thank you. Item 1, please.
Consider approval of MMA minutes of October 14th, 2019.
You've had a chance to look at the minutes.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
The motion carries. Item 2.
Consider approval of MMA claims for the month ending October 31, 2019.
I'll take that, if you don't mind. We do have the claims before you, and we do recommend approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, the motion carries, and that completes our agenda. And we will adjourn the meeting of the Muskogee Municipal Authority and call to order the November 12, 2019 meeting of the Muskogee City Council. Would you please stand for the invocation by Council Member Jamie Stout, followed by the flag salute.
Dear Lord, just thank you for this day, and we just thank you for everything that you've blessed us with. Dear Lord, we just ask you to be with us tonight as we go through our meeting, dear Lord, and dear Lord, just be with our city workers that are working in the cold through the winter, and we ask this all in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Here.
Patrick Kale.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Derek Reed.
Here.
We're all here, and we need to talk about the special call City Council minutes of October 21, 2019, and City Council regular session of October 28, 2019.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. The consent agenda is composed of item 1 through 10. Is there anything anybody wants moved to the regular agenda?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 11.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of Resolution Number 2788, amending the land use map regarding property located on the east side of South York Street between Toll Avenue and the south boundary of Lot 7, Block 4 of Fair Lawn First Edition, more particularly described in the resolution, from single-family residential to local commercial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the land use map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
Okay, we will open the public hearing and hear from Ms. Tisch.
Thank you. This is a request to amend the land use map. It's on a property that's located on York Street. It is one of the areas of the York Street on the east side of South York that remains to be developed commercially due to the widening of York Street. But this land use map amendment would allow for a rezoning request and also future rezoning requests without having to amend the land use map. If you'll, was it on? me to start over?
We could hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is the area that's being requested, that highlighted in yellow for the amendment to the land use map. As you'll see, the areas that are shaded in the shaded areas are the residential areas. And then to the north and west is a Dollar General. You have the nursing home. There's the pawn shop and retail, a convenience store, and then there's a restaurant that surrounds it. The amendment is requesting to go from a single-family residential to the local commercial, and this is to allow for a rezoning request and future development commercially in the future. Staff, Planning Commission, and Public Works recommends approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
We haven't had anyone sign up to speak to this, so we will close the public hearing and see what the council has to say. Does anyone have questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 12.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance number 4080A to rezone 628 South York Street, more particularly described in the ordinance from R1, single-family residential, to C1, local commercial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
Thank you, and we will open the public hearing and ask Ms. Tish again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is a request to rezone property that is owned by Helen Pride. The applicant is Jeremy Berry with the Farmers Insurance. It's to request to go from the R1 single-family residential to C1 local commercial, and it is for a proposed insurance office for Jeremy. This is the site highlighted in yellow. This is the only area that is currently being requested to be rezoned. The land use map amendment had the property to the north. And as you'll see again, the areas that are residential to the south is residential, to the north is residential single family. And then we have the C1 local commercial to the north and west. And then the R4, which is a nursing home. C1 local commercial, which is pawn shop and retail. C1 is a commercial, convenience store, and C1 local commercial that is a restaurant. And then farther on down, South York Street is on the west side is also zoned commercially. The C1 local commercial now does comply with the comprehensive plan and future land use map, and the property meets the subdivision and zoning regulations. Staff, Planning Commission, and Public Works recommend approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant is here, but he's happy to answer any questions also if you have any.
Okay. We haven't had anyone sign up to speak to this, so we will close the public hearing. And what's the pleasure of the council?
Move for approval. Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 13.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance number 4081A to close the right-of-way located within and being a part of the Walmart addition, more particularly described in the ordinance, providing for severability and setting an effective date, or take other necessary action.
Okay, we will open the public hearing and hear from
Me again.
Ms. Callahan again.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is a request from the City of Muskogee. We have acquired additional property from the Department of Transportation to the south. So we are requesting to close this existing right-of-way. It's located within the Walmart addition, and it's to allow for future commercial development. This is a wide view of the area. It is located on the Walmart addition subdivision, and it is between Chick-fil-A and the Murphy's gas station. Closer examination, it shows the area there between really Chick-fil-A and the drainage and the gas station. And the hope is for future commercial development. Staff, Subdivision Review Committee, Planning Commission, and Public Works recommended approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. We have had a citizen sign up to speak to this. So at this time, Doug Walton, you have the floor. Please give us your name and your address.
Thank you. Doug Walton, 2702 Gibson Street. I actually missed the chance to comment at the previous hearings and just kind of suddenly decided I should at least throw this out there for consideration. And I did make one copy of the aerial that make it easier for everyone if you can take one and pass it that way. I may not have enough for the first review.
We can share.
For everyone else. And I'll wait till those get passed around. So I really have no idea what the future possible needs for a sidewalk might be on this stretch on the south side of the service road. And I did speak with Ms. Callahan about it briefly. But to me, it just wasn't entirely clear from the title of the agenda item or the proposal, either to close a tract situated or to close the right-of-way, whether or not that would offer the ability of the city to have a sidewalk on this section. Again, whether or not it was even needed. If you'll note, I didn't fully realize or remember, there is actually a sidewalk currently coming in on 6th Street from the corner, right there up to the Murphys, and then across the drive there, kind of just hooking a little bit back towards the west. And then you can see on the curbs there in front of the Chick-fil-A, there's a tiny little piece of a sidewalk just right there where 11th turns onto Shawnee, and another little hook right there leaving their driveway. Whatever may happen to go into these locations, maybe a restaurant or two. I could imagine perhaps maybe a busload of kids coming to park in the Walmart parking lot and then wanting to move about from one restaurant to the other, or who knows what. People approaching perhaps by foot up 11th, which is already a bit of a challenge to cross Shawnee right there. But if they make it in, then they've got to get over to the store one way or the other. And again, not being entirely clear whether or not what's going to happen today would allow that. Just wanted to bring this to the attention of the council to consider. And that's really about all I had.
Thank you. We will close the public hearing then and see what the council's pleasure is.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
I would like to express my appreciations again to staff for working on this. This is a section of property that's been sitting there for a long period of time, and this is a wonderful asset to get this piece of property that can really be developed and bring more sales tax revenue, and also be a generator for Muskogee. So thank you very much. I appreciate the efforts. I know this has taken some time to work with all the different agencies to get this freed up. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 14.
Approval to reject the bids from the sole contractor on the rehabilitation and revitalization program for the repair of 5 dwellings or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan again.
Yes, thank you. This was a bid opening for the City of Muskogee Foundation funded rehab project. We call it the rehabilitation revitalization, so it becomes a mouthful. We call it the rehab program. But this is the one of the projects that would finish out Area 8, and then we need to move into Areas 9 and 10, and the foundation graciously funded us to finish those. However, we did just get one sole contractor to bid on the 5 houses that we have up for bid at this time, and due to that, the staff has recommended that we reject the bids and kind of back up and maybe redo the bidding process and go out for bids after the first of the year, when hopefully the weather's not as bad.
When you talk about take another look at the bidding process, is part of that other look putting maybe spec items or certain standards in place for the folks that are bidding. They can see exactly what we kind of have in mind.
There's different ideas that are going around, and it's really, Dan is working really hard on it, and appreciate his work on it, knowing the codes, the building codes, and specking it out. There's just different ideas that they're discussing right now to possibly just have a person that would bid on the roof, or just on the siding, or just on the window. So there's just different ideas, either that or just try to contact some more contractors that would be willing to bid on it.
Well, and I'm appreciative of that. And my point was, I think that from what I've seen, maybe and I'm sorry, I've got a bad headache tonight, so I'm not thinking straight. But to have some better specifications on certain materials would be helpful.
And that was discussed too.
Yeah, so
yes.
I'm happy to see that, and it'll be interesting to see how this moves forward. Thank you very much.
Ms. Callahan, the potential or proposed processes in terms of bidding out a roof, bidding out the siding, bidding out a single home in separate pieces, has that been done before with the other projects?
No, sir. And it's something to try to try to get them all done, and then they would be able to move on and get the rest of area 9 and 10 completed that way too, or move faster rather than bidding.
My concern with that was when I had the opportunity to visit with several contractors since this agenda item first came up, they were concerned that they weren't even interested in bidding before, that they certainly would not be interested in doing it now, because that would be a more cumbersome process. And my question about that is, what does that do for our cost in terms of having them bid in single pieces versus bidding in as one whole? Isn't it likely that sometimes, in some instances now, those costs for what we're doing may be more?
Yes, that's been discussed, is that in talking with contractors and the estimates of what they may see come in, it may look like that's what's going to happen, so that may not be an option as once they get researching it.
And the last thing I have is that while the state and the city are prohibited from ever doing quota-type programs, I think in most instances with these projects, it's not unfamiliar that we've only had one bidder.
Correct. We've had up to 3 in the past, I think. Not the main person on this project all the time, but we have had sole bids before, and we had one contractor that always bid that's now retired, so that's made it difficult to get additional bidders on it.
And in some instances, this may be one of those projects where we only have the only opportunity where we may have a minority contractor to actually be eligible to do the work.
True. And the other contractor was a minority also. He's Native American, but it's still, you're correct. It's very hard to get contractors to bid on a rehab when you're trying to fix up a house in the condition it is and the age that it is. So it's very hard to.
And I just wanted my colleagues to be familiar with some of that information, because while we're in these last 2 zones, the hustle that we had to do to get those funds, I hate to see it delayed any further, especially if we're going to do a new type of process where it may cost us more.
True.
So, thank you.
Here, Mr. Coleman, from the tour that I took, and I've got to say, I've got no problem with a single bidder and awarding a bid at all to anybody. But from what I saw, we've got to have certain specifications and guidelines, and those in themselves are going to raise the price of the projects, whether we have 5 bidders or 1 bidder. But I would rather see us, if we're going to do some of these things right, covering up rotted fascia board under a roof is, in my estimation, not the way to do things. So I want to see that we go out and say, okay, we're going to have to take out this rotted fascia board cover it up with a new wood and then go over it with a material that, again, from what I saw, that material needs to be spec'd out, a quality product. So what I'd like to see is this is a lot of money, and I would rather do one house less and have all the other homes done appropriately and adequately, and really have something there for another 5 years, than to not pay a little closer attention and to miss things like just we've all heard the story lipstick on a pig, you know. But I think the work and everything could all be done, quality and the whole bit. But from what I saw, we were just allowing materials that were awful insufficient to be spec'd out, and that was a big part of what I saw. But I think it's a wonderful program, but I'd like to see if we can't set some more rigorous standards, and whether we have one contractor bid or whether we have 5 contractor bids, that's really of no consequence to me. I'd like to see more people interested, but if they're not, they're not.
Ms. Callahan, any of those other zones, has the city ever used inspectors, or has that ever been a requirement that we placed internally?
We have our building inspectors that go out and check the work. We haven't done external.
But
Oh, we did at the very beginning, but it wasn't foundation funded. It was the very beginning, areas 1 through 4, I believe, were where we hired a gentleman from out of town that oversaw the project.
Okay.
Forgot about that. That's a long time ago.
Thank you.
Ms. Mayor, may we recognize?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Callahan, you said that you hadn't had this done in the past, or where you had one big bidder?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ms.
No,
Callahan,
yeah, I said we did have. We have had.
had just one bidder on
Yes.
these houses?
Yes.
I can't recall that, because I know when this project first begun, the bidders that bid on them, and we went down to one bidder because we lost Ishman King, we lost Mr. Crabtree, which used to do it. And then when this project first begun, it was quite a few people used to bid on them, and they went here and there, and went here and there. But myself, I would like to see, like what y'all came up with, I'd like to see somebody bid on it, but bid on the roof, bid on the siding, bid on the driveway. Because we're still allowing driveways to be put in?
Yes, we haven't had any in several years because of the cost and being able to do as much as possible to the house and with the funds available. So they try to get the house fixed up first before any driveways.
And I also, on each house, I think when we do get someone to bid on this and get a qualified and professional person to put this stuff in, I think that every job, every house, when they finish it, the inspector needs to go inspect this property right then, so they don't move on to the next one. That's my concern up here as a councilman. You know, don't let them move on to the next one. Get that first one fixed. If they got to go back and redo it, let them go back and redo it. Because, like I say, $20,000, the foundation was gracious enough to give us this money. And we owe them a lot for that, because we went a long time. You know, we went, a year, 2 years, with $100,000 for 2 years, I remember. Then last year, we didn't have zero. And what they failed to realize is that if it wasn't for Councilman Coleman and me going down to the foundation to plead with them to get the money to start this and get these other wards finished up, they wouldn't have a job. So that's what that's the point I'm trying to make on this. I agree with what you're saying. We definitely need some more people to bid on these projects. I'm serious. We definitely do. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Ms. Mayor.
Move for approval.
Second, and we're rejecting the current bids, right?
Your motion is to reject.
That is correct.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Mr. Tucker, can you clarify so that those watching know a vote of yes is to reject the existing bid, and a vote of no is to continue as received?
that's not exactly right, but let me clarify. A vote of yes would be to reject, and a vote of no would be of that motion, but it wouldn't necessarily approve it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So a vote of yes would be to reject, a vote of no would be to vote against the motion, and if it failed, then another motion would need to be made, which could be to approve, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Mr. Tucker, for me to understand, my understanding is a vote to reject, and this is in my mind, and maybe I've just got it wrong, or I want life to go my way or whatever, but if we vote to reject, it's not necessarily, in my mind, to reject this particular bid or propose. It's more to stand back and relook at what we're doing and set
correct.
specifications and to
Right.
make sure that this program is as good as it can be.
It would initiate a new solicitation process.
Because I've got nothing to do. I've got no problems personally with our current bidder, except that we need to give him direction or anyone else next time direction to have specifications that you know, if thin gauge metal is not the direction we want to go, then we just need to say we don't want to go metal, we want to do something else. And I realize that if we have specs that are that end up costing a little bit more money, but long term, I think it's better for the situation. That's fine. I realize that, like Mr. Van talked about, if we split up or encourage people to look at the roof and then to look at the siding or whatever, that could be more expensive. Both of those will be, but and we'll see what staff comes up with. But I'd like what we're doing here to truly be meaningful, and if it means we can only do 5 houses instead of 6, man, I'm okay with that. I like the program.
Well, the city's purchasing policy allows for us to reject and rebid for any reason whatsoever. And so in this instance, staff has articulated that the reason they want to do that is to look at the process and to look at the specifications. It does not disqualify.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, right. It does
Okay.
not disqualify the bidder on this particular
Okay.
project from rebidding at all.
I just that's what I wanted to hear was staffs want to take a look at this.
And that's what my motion was based on, is the recommendation of staff to
Right.
re-look at the process.
Thank you.
Anything further? Okay, roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
No.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 15.
Consider approval of the appointment of Mike Stewart to the Airport Board to serve a 4-year term beginning November 1, 2019, and ending September 30, 2023, filling the expired term of Tim Wheeler, or take other necessary action.
This is my item, and I think Mike Stewart will be a great addition to the Airport Board. He knows as much about that airport as anybody I know, and he has agreed to serve, and I move that he be appointed for the 4-year term.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Yes.
Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes, and the motion carries. Item 16.
Receive report and update on remodel of the former Fire Station Number 3 located on West Okmulgee Avenue.
Councilor Jamie Stout.
Yes. It had been a while since we had updated the citizens on the upcoming remodel of the fire station for our senior citizen center, and me and Councilman Johnson and Mr. Miller have been meeting with some of the ladies, and so we just wanted to bring this forth tonight. Mark is going to come forward and give a presentation and give us an update on the current status for the new senior citizen center.
Mayor and council members, Mike asked that I would, the city manager asked that I bring everybody up to speed where we're at, or maybe talk about the project if you're not familiar with the project. This picture that I start with is kind of a sad photograph. This is the existing conditions of the station number 3 on the west side of town. But I brought a picture of station number 1, of the old station at Spalding Park. This is the renovation we did many years ago. It's the home of our Park and Recreation Office. So when Habitat moved out of the building, the old fire station on the west side of town, it came to my idea that at the time we were struggling over renovating the Kiwanis Center or finding a new home for the Kiwanis Center, and so I like the idea of trying to save the old fire station on the west side of town and repurpose it, and what could we do with it? And the idea came, well, maybe we can put the senior center over there and downsize our space and close the Kiwanis building, which has got a lot of deficiencies over, and its scale is much bigger floor space than what we actually need. And so that's the idea, and we developed a concept for the site and the property. What's kind of delayed us was the, I don't know if this works, but on the left-hand side of this picture, this would be a parking facility. That piece of property there was not part of this property. It was owned privately. And so we've been, the city attorney's office has been working to try to acquire this property. I think a deal's been made. I think a closing is happening this month. And so we've been waiting for that to happen before we actually progressed. It was very critical that we have this piece of property here so that we have adequate parking. Without the parking, there was no reason for us to go, or there was no reason for us to take the senior center there. Now it could be used for maybe another purpose with that, but we've done that. So the site would include parking on that would be the west side. It would be a drop off right here for an entrance at this point. There'd be some parking in the back and entrance in the back. And let's see, there's another picture. So I zoomed in here. I should have started that. You can see some of the spaces on your monitors. Maybe you can see better, but it talks about the spaces. So there'd be a kind of a gathering room here, a larger dining hall maybe perhaps, a dance room here, classroom down here, catering spots, 3 restrooms, 2 mechanical rooms, another conference room, storage. So it's a pretty nice space. If you've been inside of our building at the Park and Recreation Office, I mean, that's the kind of renovation that we'll do, is to preserve the architecture, the kind of the uniqueness, kind of the fire station feel, so that it remains somewhat of its existence, its creation of a fire station. So it still may depict a fire station. Have the open ceilings, basically, kind of have that more of a warehouse feel. And then across the street to the east is a little pie-shaped piece of green space there. What we hope to be able to do there is add additional parking. And in that green space, you can see where it ties in. The parking and sidewalk could tie into the sidewalk on the east entrance of the building. The other idea that came up was to creating of course, we're on the Jefferson Highway here, so one of our ideas is we've looked for a new location for a Jefferson Highway historical marker. I've been in communication with Roger Bell about that, and so that's not part of this project. There's no funding for that, but we hope to maybe we can find funding to acquire that. So then, of course, the work involves putting a new roof on it, HVAC, electrical, interiors. The exterior is a huge part of it, to replacing the stucco and the paint and all those things. So the driveways, the sidewalks, the landscaping, all of it. We've got a schedule of the work. We're developing the specs for the roof right now. That'll be the first project we'll undertake, and with the goal we hope we can complete it in late spring, early summer of this coming year.
Wow.
If there's any questions I could try to answer.
Yes,
Great.
sir.
Or go ahead, Patrick.
Well, where we see the grass on the west end of the parking lot, is that where the current building is now? The building that we're purchasing?
No. The property that we're purchasing is on the west side, and the building is to the west of that parking.
Right, but that's what I was asking, kind of where that grass line is that building literally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, so I guess what I was looking for was, we've got a parking, plenty of space in between the parking lots and the parking space on this side.
Yes.
And we've got this building that we've decided maybe we could use, maybe we don't, but we'll take a look at that.
Right. The building came with the property. We haven't even evaluated. We haven't been in the building. So one idea is tear it down, make our parking bigger.
Mm-hmm.
If the building's suitable for something, I guess we can consider that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for your time and for all your work on this project. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Jamie, it may be good to say, just as a reminder, that we're going to have a meeting at the existing senior center at 10 a.m. on Thursday.
Yes.
So we'll meet with the public and talk more about it then as well.
Okay, and we have had 2 citizens sign up to speak to this, and the first one is the illustrious Ann Barker Ong. Please give us your name and your address.
I'm Ann Barker Ong, 7744 West Shawnee in Muskogee. I do business at 350 South 40th Street. I have to say I'm encouraged by the report, but many of you know that my husband is a cardiologist in this town and that I work in the clinic. And we see a lot of people over 65 years old, some of them well into their 90s. And it is readily observable that the people who remain active and engaged in their community do much better. They are healthier, they are happier. If they're grousy, it's because they want to be. They have fewer accidents at home. When they do have an accident or a sudden illness, they get care faster because they have friends that report when they don't show up for social functions. They have fewer trips to the emergency room. They have fewer hospitalizations. They have lower health care bills. They need less care from family and caregivers, professional caregivers. Dr. Ong says that even when people have chronic or acute illnesses and medical problems, they recover much faster and much better when they have strong social networks and stimulating physical and mental activity. Good senior citizen activity centers provide so much of this. They provide activities and opportunities for people to learn things, stay active, and make new friends. The U.S. Census Bureau estimates that as of June last year, we had approximately 6,000 people in Muskogee City that were over 65 years of age. I'm pretty sure that at least 5,000 of them have talked to us in the past few weeks about their concerns about what's going to happen with the Senior Citizen Center. They are concerned that, first of all, there are problems with the current location where they are. They have been concerned about the possibility of this location being suitable for them, and they and I want to encourage you to make sure that you prioritize doing a good job with this. I was encouraged also to hear your discussion earlier in the meeting about quality in the projects that you're doing and making sure that those things get done right. So what I want to suggest is that though we've had a senior citizen center for some time, we probably haven't done as good a job as we should have and could have for the senior citizens, and they have a lot to offer. Some of them right here in this room. Some of us keep working even after 65, and those who don't need places to go, even those who are retired or disabled to some extent. can have social networks that can help them lead much more productive lives. And I encourage you to be communicative with those people. They feel that you are not including them in the decisions, and that they may wind up with a situation where they're less well off than they have been. So just be aware of those things, and give me something to tell them when they come in the office. Good news. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
And I guess we should tell them about the meeting on Thursday.
Well, they're the ones I set it up with.
Yes.
Counselor
So
Stout
anyone
and
who has that.
Counselor Johnson.
Thank you very much. And our other citizen is Mr. Max Boydston. Would you please come forward and give us your name and address?
Max Boydston, and I live 10 miles south of town at the Snake Farm, but work here in Muskogee and obviously spend as much money as I can here. I was going to say that I came here at the request of my 94-year-old mother, but I was telling Wayne earlier that it's not a request when she uses my full name. She said, "Stanley Frank, you need to go talk to the city." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." So that's really why I'm here. And I want to start off by saying I know the makeup of this council is a lot different than it was 5 years ago. And a lot of the perceptions that our seniors have that I've heard are really a result of maybe the last 5 or 6 years. It's been quite a while. I've been in touch with some of you all. I thank Jamie, Wayne, Mike for kind of keeping me in the loop so I can pass it on to Mom. Mom likes to talk a lot. She has a lot of friends, and trust me, word gets out in the south part of the county as well as in town whenever things change. Ann, you stole my thunder, which is great because that means I don't have to talk as long, but this is some of the same data that I've been reading for the last few months about the importance of a senior citizen center for Muskogee. And as you all can tell from this gray hair that I've got or lack of hair that I've got, I'm getting there fast, so I want a place to go play dominoes or play my guitar or whatever one of these days too. Selfish reasons. The main thing, I guess, that I just wanted to let you all know, and Ann did touch on it, there is a perception out there amongst the senior citizens that this has been pushed down on the priority list long enough. And I have been taking good news back to them for at least the last 6 to 9 months because there has been a lot of good news coming out of this committee. I also will echo Ann, there's still a little bit of concern, and I think the increased communication, just the better communication that you all are doing with these meetings now is all positive. They want to know that there's enough room out there for the quilters. They want to know there's enough room out there for the square dancers or for the domino players and all that. Everybody's got a vested interest in this thing. They also know that the city of Owasso has a much better facility than we do. The city of OK has a much better facility than we do. So I think really the message that I was tasked with to bring was it's their turn, and they want this city to step up and show them that. So that's really all I have. Just please fund this building. Continue what you're doing, which is much, much better than it was years ago, and the communication is definitely helping. And since I didn't have to read all this, Jamie, I'll leave it with you.
Okay.
Jamie's been helping keep Mom informed because she's a South County girl too, and we've got a pretty tight.
Have to take care of my Fadine.
We got a pretty tight community out there, and they are part of this this city too. So I thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great project, and our seniors are a vital part of our community, and I'm excited to see this project forward and seeing it completed this summer. So there's no action needed, so I think unless anybody else has anything to add.
Councilor Stout, I really appreciate you putting this on the agenda, and you had said earlier we've been meeting with the ladies. I think at one or two of the meetings there
has been a couple gentlemen.
men, but they are quite They are quite outnumbered. I really do appreciate the seniors for meeting with us. You know, at first there was only 10 or 12, and the last time we were really trying to get all the chairs that we could at the Kiwanis Center to accommodate their needs. So they have really been very supportive. I appreciate Mike Miller for setting the monthly meetings up. Matter of fact, at their request, they said, can we make it every 2 months? Because we didn't have as much updates, but we are moving forward. And I do want to express my appreciation to the foundation for helping us follow through with this also, and for our support, through the support of the community on the vote of the CIP. So we're coming at a number of different funding sources to make this a reality for our community. I don't think this one center is going to accommodate the needs of our community. It's going to be multiple things. We need to make sure seniors are the utmost importance to our community at anything we move forward. And one of the things that I think we've done wrong in the past is communications. And that's one thing I think we're at least able to address this time. And this is one way of you putting it on the agenda where our community knows. We've been meeting with the seniors, but now our community knows also we've been addressing that. Thank you.
And there may be some out there who haven't known they have this avenue. Maybe you will hear from some more of them. Thank you, everyone. Item 17.
Receive report on rehabilitation and revitalization program.
Councilor Van.
Yes, Ms. Callahan. Is this out of order, Mr. Miller? Can I ask her one quick question?
I assume if it's related to the
Yes.
program.
I didn't ask her because on the other, we was discussing some other things.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Callahan, on these new houses that the contractor is doing, have they been inspected yet?
The new houses?
Yeah, the six.
The current ones that are not the ones we just rejected the bids on, but the current ones that
From my understanding, yes.
they've all been inspected,
they're not all complete.
They're not
but
complete,
There's
but
been
yeah.
inspections along the way, I believe.
but they've all been inspected. Okay,
We're in the process of being inspected, so
okay. Would you mind doing the clicker for me, or you can pass it to me, or?
I can pass it to you.
Okay. Yes, first of all, this is the Housing Rehabilitation Program in the City of Muskogee, and I'm so proud of this program. Like I said, I've been on this program ever since it's been in existence. I used to pass out papers to my neighbors in different parts of the city of the $20,000 that you receive on each one of these houses. But I have some concerns. And first of all, I'd like to thank you, Councilman Kale, you, City Attorney Miller. I'd like to thank Laura.
Please don't promote.
sorry,
Please don't
City
promote
Manager.
me to city attorney. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
City Manager Miller. Also, I'd like to thank Laura of the City of Foundation. She went with us, and we inspected these houses, all of them. There's 6 of them. We inspected them all, and I thought it would be interesting to bring it back to council and let you see what our inspections came up with. So on the first one here. Okay, this is one of the first houses. I got 3 of these pictures here. This is one of the first houses that they done years and years ago. You see how that roof looks? I don't know if might have been a wind's got a hold to it or a tornado come along or what, but you see how all that wobble in down the valley. I mean, that eave is right there. That's no good. See how the roof line and the shingles are? Like I said, this was done years ago. So this doesn't have to do with the 6 new ones we have. Okay, this right here is the same house. You see the material, we was talking about material just a while ago. You see how cheap this material is? This paint is already peeled off, right here. But that's quality. That's not my kind of quality. Okay, also, this is the other house, this is the same house. You see how that siding is puckling and buckling out there like that? Somehow that siding wasn't put on very, very good. I have a problem with that. Now these pictures right here, like I say, these were done years, probably 5, 6 years. I'm guessing. It's guessing now. But now we're coming up with the up-to-date stuff. Okay, this is one house. This is house number 1. This house cost $15,100 to do the rehab. This is one of the windows they put in, and you see how the caulking looks. See up there where they cut the metal? Didn't even get it up to the brick. People should see this stuff. See that caulking? Didn't even caulk, got holes right there. We would not, none of us in here would want none of this stuff done on our home. Up there, where they tried to, I don't know what they did right there. They bent that and they just left it like that. Just like that today. And that right there, he was kind of making a little design. I don't know why they got that little piece of plastic sticking out. That's on both ends of the house. Same thing there. Poor workmanship. That's another one. Same thing. Poor workmanship. That's the same thing. It's just another, for the other end I took another picture of. Same thing with that, the window. They could have caulked that and made a nice looking job out of it, but they didn't. Okay, see all that wave in the siding there? This particular contractor right here, he's known for that. That shouldn't be. If you got good quality material, you shouldn't have all that waviness in that siding like that. That's what I was talking about, getting a close-up just a while ago. I don't know why they got that little edge sticking out there. I'm not a siding person, but I know that is not right. Okay, on this fin here, and also on the roof has done a good job on this house. I tried to get them to put ridge venting, but they said it was cost a little bit too much. So we went with the regular venting across the roof. But ridge venting allows more air in your roof. But the roofers on this home here, they've done a good job. Okay, this siding right here on the back side of the house, they didn't care how they put it up. See all the scratches? Just nail it up, scratches and all. That's part of the roof. I think that's a nice looking job. Okay, this is a post in front of the house that supports the porch. They could have caulked that a lot much better, more professionally. We're talking about quality here. Okay, this is about a garage. They run some metal up there. I didn't put the caulk in there, but if they know what they're doing, they could have put a piece of metal right there or even caulked it and made it look nice. Because professional people that really know what they're doing with siding, that wouldn't look like that. Same thing here. This right here is going up to electric pipe on the side of the house where they made the cut. That should have been just straight. See that right there? You know, you can make cuts and make things look neat. Okay, this is the material you just leave on. You don't leave material on a job. When you get through, you go around your house and you pick all the stuff up. Don't just leave it laying around. Okay, we're going to house number 2. Okay, this house here, this house costs $15,275 to redo it. Because this is the lady front door. This is this lady's front door. That's how it looks right now, today. Okay, on this particular job here, they painted the house. They painted the siding and they put a roof on it. Okay, as you noticed, when you're painting things, you're supposed to tape them off or use a cut-in brush, but that wasn't done. Got paint all on the foundation. Now, see right here, this is above the roof, below the roof, and that's a siding. But remember, I said they didn't put the siding up on this; they painted. See how the brush, when they're done the painting, see how the brush marks are? That's not professional. Just smudged. Okay, on this one here, they let the paint drip down on the siding. And then this white part up here, I don't know what happened on that, because they painted the whole house. Look like it's 2 different types of white. Same thing here, 2 different types of white. Okay, this is another window that they painted. Now you see the paint all on the white, edging. That should have been masked or used a cut-in brush. You just don't leave stuff. I mean, quality, you just don't. Professional people do not leave stuff like this. Same thing on the soffit above. Paint everywhere. Same thing on this siding. White mixed in with different type of white. Okay, this is the roof on it. it's kind of got a sway to it. That's what I was saying. I believe, from now on, when they go to look at these roofing jobs, they ought to check it when they redeck it or whatever they do, take the shingles off and see how it's swaying. They should fix it. Even if the house comes under bid, they should come in for a change order or something. That way we can get all this swaying out of it. And on this particular roof here, it leaked, and they had to go back in the rain to fix it. I talked to the people on these houses. That's part of the roof there. Okay, we're going to house number 3. Okay, this is house number 3. This house here costs $19,550 to redo. Now you see how those cuts are? That's supposed to be a 45 right there. That's not a 45. That's just a cut. This right here. Like I say again, this contractor's noted for all this waveness, he leaves in these houses. That looks bad. So you look all down through there, even though the house probably is not, plumb square, but still, look like it could be done a better job than that. Same thing here. Now this right here, this is looking up at the soffit, and they didn't even, right there at one piece, that soffit is supposed to go inside their channel, so they just left it like that. Like I say, I had professional siders look at some of this work before I came up here with these pictures. They just shook their head. They couldn't believe it. Okay, this is the window they put in, which is on this side looking at it like this. It looks okay. It looks okay on this side. Okay, here we go again. All this waviness that don't have to be. If you got quality siding, you don't have to do all that. They got benders that can make it look pretty. See these cuts? Just any kind of cut to get it up there. That's another one. Air gap. Same thing there. Just didn't make the mark on that one. Same thing on this particular house here. Left material on the ground. And this right here, the nail is sticking out. It's all wavy. Like I say, this is just done. This right here, they brought that brown right there. That's still part of the old house. Looked like they could have had enough room to put another piece of siding right there to cover all that up. But they brought the corner down, but they didn't do that. They just left that like it is. Unprofessional. But this is the front of the house. Okay, now we're going to house number 4. Now this house here, I talked to these people too, and I know the man that laid this rock, and his name was Nathan King. Ishmael King's father laid the rock on this house years ago. And you see how that rock work, how pretty neat it looks? But it's a shame that we had to go get some siding people, and the roof looks okay, but right here I don't know what they done, because they got the metal up under that roof right there sticking up, but when you go on down, even right there at the edge by where the door is, you see that square? That's the best they could do on that. I don't have no problem with that. But now, see the metal ends, and then it becomes like it's supposed to, lay on the roof, on the decking, against that metal trim around the house. Here we go again. We got a wave, wave, wave. This right here is nails. It's at the very top there. See how the metal is bent? And on this house here, where they put the windows in, it looks like it's a cream color instead of white. Now, on the other side, they got, see that nail sticking out there? Same thing. Now, trust me, this house shouldn't have this like that because it is square. Same thing. Now, this is new metal we're talking about. See how that metal looks up there? Just don't care. Just throw it up there. Scratch it up any kind of way. caulk it any kind of way. Okay, we got a door right here. And if you notice in this door, it's got a dent in it, right there in the middle. That's the dent right there. Looked like they took a hammer. I don't know what they did that, unless they bought one from home, was used. As a brand new door shouldn't look like this. Same thing there. I just took a closer up picture. You don't leave a job like this. Same thing, waved, around that. And this right here, they put a board with the window. This is a brand new window. Didn't even paint it. That's gonna rot, and that's gonna rot out pretty soon because of the weather. I'm not a carpenter, but I know a little something. See this right here? How they bent the metal right there and left it like that? Same thing there. On this house particularly, they had caulking already on it, what somebody done in the past. What they should have done was take all this old caulking off and then bent the metal as close as they could to that rock and then recaulked it, but they didn't. You can see the gap right there at the bottom. They could have brought that metal all the way down to the edge, but they didn't. So this is some more of the jagged caulking. It's another window. Okay, this is the roof. They done, like I say, they done a pretty good job on this roof. But like I say, them turtle vents. That's not a turtle vent. I can't think exactly what kind of vent that is. But I just didn't understand the front part of the house, what that metal lid was. See this right here? That shouldn't be. All bowed and just throwed up there. See right here? All that should be tucked in. Look how dirty it looks. This is brand new. This is brand new construction. Now this is what I was talking about on the caulking. All this old caulking right here should have been completely took off and redone, and made it look like a craftsman put it up there. See this? Very unprofessional. Okay, we're going to house number 5. Okay, house number 5 costs $18,100. That's what it cost the city of Muskogee, and the foundation was good enough to give it to us. Okay, this is house number 5. You see the nails sticking up? See how it's all bowed and just like, I don't understand what that looks like. Same thing. Each house has the same pattern. And that right there is when I don't know if they use that for a squirrel hole or what, just to leave that like that, because that's how it is right now. That's what I wanted to know, is these houses have been inspected. If they have, we got a problem. Okay, this is the window. The windows, as you can tell by looking at the pictures, it's not plumb. And you see the bottom of it. You see how that cut is? That should be a 45 on the left. But on the right side, it looks pretty good. And at the top, that looks pretty good. But I don't know why they didn't do all of them, the whole window like that. But this what got me right here. You put the window in, you put that siding around it, and you leave a gap for water and rain and everything else to get in it. Okay, this right here, it really threw me for a loop here. This is a roof. The decking is not supposed to look like that. That decking is supposed to be in further. So you get a blowing rain, that decking right there, it ain't gonna take long for that decking to rot out. I've never seen a job done like that. Same thing on that one. Okay, this here is the front door. They put a new front door and they put a new screen door. They shot screws in it. You see how the screws split the door? You think they care? They went on about their business. Same thing at the top. Split it. Okay, this is on the other end of the house. You're still seeing decking, which you shouldn't see. Okay, this is another door they put up. At the back, it don't close. Okay, this is the full door at the very back door of this house. Okay, you see all this swaying in the roof? All that right there, that's what I'm saying. We need to, when you see something like that, we need to do a little better job and get that roof where it's right and where it's not all sagging and everything. Who knows if that roof is not weak right now? And I bet it is. The same house. Okay, this is another swaying part of this house. It should have been, the roofer should have done a better job for us. Well, you got a roofer out here, and you also got a contractor out here. Now, between both of them, I know they could have fixed the sagging. Same thing up here. See how that looks, those cuts? Just throw it up there. Now, I can say on this, I got a ladder, and I got up on this roof myself. I didn't get on the roof, but I got a folding ladder, and I looked up here. I couldn't have seen it from, on the ground. But on this roofing here, this roll roofing, that they done right. That's supposed to, because I checked with some other contractors, and they said that, yeah, because of the rain, the pitch of the rain, that lets that rain won't run off faster. So, hey, they done that. They done on that one okay. They still right there on the edge. They still got some puckling though. Same roof. Okay, we get to this front of the house, and I just don't know why they did this. Nobody in this house is handicapped, but they call themselves making a little handicap ramp there, right there, ramp at the door. Then to come down here, and this concrete here was leading all the way up to where you go up on the porch. You got you got two tripping hazards right there. And you see how the front of it looks? Now this is supposed, you see how they finished it. The front, you take the board off and you smooth that out. They didn't do that. Same thing on this side. They didn't smooth that out. Just took the board off and just kind of gave it a lick and a promise and called it a day. Okay, the reason I took a picture of this is one of the piers pillars that you buy pre-made. As you can see, half of it is off the porch. But you see at the bottom of that pier, you see those cuts? But they're professional, like I say, they bought that. That's just another picture of what, I don't think decking should look like. See it clear right there. I just got different angles of it. Okay, this is another window they put in. And it's like that today. Holes. No caulking, no nothing. Same thing. Their signatures right here, all this waving. Same thing with this window. That's a close-up of the other window I showed you just a while ago. I want you to see that it should have been a 45 right there, cut, instead of just a half cut. Okay, on the top of the porch roof, you see that strip coming across? You see how they done those cuts? That's just the work they do. And on this right here, if you notice, by the air conditioner in the window, they just push that vinyl siding. It's just pushed all the way. It's just pushed in. Front door. This is a brand new door. You see the rubber on it? Those people, they ain't tore that door up like that. Brand new. But if we don't go around and look at this stuff, people would never know. And that's a fact. It's another door, back door. And this right here is the back door, and this is where the screen door shuts. And you see how split that wood is? They use it as a spacer. That wood is split. That wood ain't gonna last long on that door. I just couldn't believe. I just look at this stuff. It's just hard for me to believe. And that's the front of the house. I still think it's better craftsmanship should be done. That's that pier I was talking about. And they got 3 of them. Those are the best looking thing on the porch. This door here, this right here, if I sorry. This door right here, That's really got my attention out of all the things that I've showed you. This back door here, right now, tonight, this family is in this house. And you see how the front door look, but this is the back door. They got 2 latches. I tried to turn the bottom latch myself, and I'm pretty strong, but I couldn't do it because it wouldn't open. You know how these people open this door? Like I'm explaining, the fire department's here right now. Fire chief, he was, but I don't see him now. But if this house caught a fire, and this woman and her kids was in there without her husband being there, and the fire was coming towards that door, it would kill them because they couldn't get out. You know how they how they get out of this house? They got to take a screwdriver, shove it under the bottom of the door, and raise it up. That's pitiful. Okay, this is the door itself. It's amazing what we pay people for. Okay, this is when they put this door in. As you can see, the hinges on it, that's not craftsmanship work. You can't really see it on this picture, but this wood here looks like it's been split. This is house number 6. Okay, now, reason I'm showing you these pictures here, because we're through with the home rehab program now. These are the houses. They have one more to go that I didn't, like I said, they hadn't put siding or nothing on it. They've just started the woodwork like Councilman Kell was talking about. We went out and looked at that. But the reason I'm showing you these pictures here, this is how it should be done. You can tell the difference in this craftsman. See those cuts? Around the door, quality. Around the windows. See how he's got that metal up there? Now, they make a machine that if the contractor don't have it, he can't do it. And I'm pretty sure there's probably this other contractor don't have, the one that done these rehabilitation program homes, they don't have this kind of material. Around the garage right there, you see how they done that? Covered everything. See how nice and neat that looks? I'm talking about craftsman. Put a corner piece on there. That's another same picture. But I just wanted you to get you a good view of it. See how these cuts are? A lot different. See how that window is right there? This is how it's supposed to look. I'm about finished. Same window, different window. Okay, at the brick bottom, they use wood. They painted it though. But as you can see around the windows, you see how neat that looks? You don't see caulking, all that stuff anywhere. And when they go around and make the edges up there, they bend it all the way around. They don't just butt it up. Now this house here is a different house that another contractor done that knows what he's doing. See how neat that window looks right there? He put caulking on it, but it's neat. And you see how he brought it down against that brick? You don't see caulking all laying up against it? That's a professional job. Same thing up there. So we have people in Muskogee that can do work. So that's the end of my PowerPoint. But I just wanted the city of Muskogee, the money that we got from the foundation, and we thank them for it. But it's going to have to be something done different going forward. We're going to have to do better work than this. I'm ashamed of it. And when you say you have inspected this, it's ridiculous that they get away with this. But they ain't got paid yet. And I hope we hold their money up until they get in there and go back and do some things over again, because it's not right. You can live on Country Club, Councilman Kell, or you can live where I used to live in Midland Valley, different part of town. But everybody deserves the same quality of work on every home. Mm-hmm. If you're paying a person to come out to your home and do work, you're paying them to give you quality and craftsmanship work. But as you can see on these pictures that I presented to you tonight, that this is not craftsmanship work. This is low-grade jackleg work. So I'm finished with my presentation, and I hope I have enlightened the council. And I tell any councilman up here in your ward, this is Ward 4. Go look at things that going on in your ward because, like I say, contractors, they will fool you. And I try in my ward, in Ward 3, if something's going on in my ward, I'm going out and look at it firsthand because I want to see what they're doing. So I thank you, council and mayor, for letting me present this tonight, and I'll turn it back over to you, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you very much, and there's no action needed, and that's the end of our agenda. So we are adjourned. Good night.